The sun was barely up, painting the sky in soft pinks and golds, when I stepped into my front yard, tool ball in hand, ready to install a sleek new smart lock on my pool gate. My name's Henry Thompson, a retired engineer with a penchant for precision. My lawns are always clipped to perfection. My hedges trimmed like they're auditioning for a magazine spread. This quiet corner of Willow Grove, my hard-earned sanctuary, was supposed to be a place of peace, but that Saturday morning, peace was the last thing I'd get. As I hummed an old Motown tune, a shadow loomed over my neatly laid tarp. A kid, barely old enough to drive, stood there, blonde hair artfully tousled, pointing a finger in my face like he was starring in a courtroom drama. "I know what you're up to, and you're not getting away with it," he barked. I blinked, screwdriver frozen midair. Getting away with what? Upgrading my own property? Buckle up. This tale of neighborhood nonsense is a wild ride. And I'd love to hear where you're reading from. Drop your city and country below, because I suspect this kind of drama isn't unique to Willow Grove. It all started with that kid, let's call him Junior Pest, leaning against my low hedge with the swagger of a wannabe dictator. "You can't put that thing on there," he snapped, eyeing my smart lock like it was a ticking bomb. I'm a patient man. Decades of navigating corporate minefields taught me to keep cool. So I offered a polite, "Good morning. This is just a safety upgrade for my grandkids." His response, a puffed up chest and a sneer, "It's against the rules. I order you to stop." Order me? I almost laughed, but the entitlement in his pale green eyes stopped me cold. This wasn't about the lock. "It's a security risk," he scoffed, ignoring my explanation of its emergency access features. Then came the kicker, pissed like a bad movie villain. "I know what you're really up to. If you don't take it off, I'm calling the cops. My mom's a big deal around here, and she'll make you regret moving in there." It was raw prejudice, thinly veiled. As a black man who'd climbed every ladder life threw at me, I'd seen that look before. And my gut tightened, but I folded my arms steady as ever. "Go ahead, son. Call them." He did. Within minutes, a patrol car rolled up, tires loud against the asphalt. Junior Pest smoothed his hair, practically bouncing with self-importance. Two officers stepped out. Sergeant Daniels, older with a weathered palm, and Officer Tate, younger and itching for action. Junior launched into his tale, finger jabbing at me. "He's tampering with a security fence. I told him to stop, and he threatened me." Threatened? The kid was rewriting history with Oscar-worthy flair. I handed over my ID, voice even. "I'm Henry Thompson, homeowner, just installing a lock for my grandkids' safety." I gestured to my toolbox, the manual, the half-installed device. Daniels raised an eyebrow at Junior. "You said he was aggressive?" The kid faltered, but before he could dig himself deeper, a gleaming SUV roared up. Out stepped a woman who could only be Junior's mother. Let's call her Vanessa Sharp, the self-proclaimed queen of Willow Grove. Vanessa strode over, blonde hair, perfect athleisure, screaming wealth. "Officers, what's the problem?" she demanded, ignoring me entirely. Her son rushed to her side, whining about my weird device. Her cold eyes flicked to me. "So, you're the new neighbor?" "I'm Henry Thompson, just securing my pool," I replied. She scoffed, echoing her son. "Secure, that contraption violates our standards." Daniels cut in. "Ma'am, he's on his property. Unless it breaks city code, it's an HOA matter." Vanessa's smile was all teeth. "Oh, Mr. Thompson, we have covenants. Unapproved changes lead to fines." She turned to her son. "Let's go, darling." They sped off, leaving me with a sinking certainty. This was war. The first salvo came a week later. A crisp HOA envelope landed in my mailbox, citing my unapproved poolgate hardware. The notice, signed with Vanessa's flourishing scrawl, demanded I remove the lock or face $50 daily fines. Then another letter arrived. It claimed that my lawn's sharp edges were excessively manicured, and that my dark green welcome mat was too vibrant for Willow Grove's muted palette. The absurdity was glaring. Vanessa was weaponizing the HOA's vague rules. Her signature cracked like a whip on every notice. I responded to each letter with certified mail, complete with specs, photos, and polite requests for clarification. My corporate training kicked in. Paper trails are power. But Vanessa didn't stop at paperwork. One morning, my recycling bin was mysteriously tipped over. Then dog droppings started appearing by my roses, no doubt, courtesy of her yappy poodle, Princess. Anonymous noise complaints brought a baffled city inspector to my perfectly quiet yard. And then, the glares. Every time I stepped outside, Vanessa and Junior would unleash a barrage of cold, hostile stares, like I was trespassing in my own home. The emotional toll was real. Late at night, I'd lie awake wrestling with the question, why me? Why this over a lock? But giving in wasn't an option. So I took action, installed discrete cameras, citing HOA rules on property security, and started a detailed journal logging every incident. Soon the neighborhood started noticing. Mrs. Larson across the street offered a shy nod. Mr. Goldstein, a retired tomato enthusiast, muttered, "Vanessa's been a nightmare for years." At a community cleanup, Sarah Miles, a young mom, whispered, "What she's doing to you is awful. She fined us over our kids' slide." Tom, a reclusive widower, grumbled about newspaper placement violations. A quiet resistance was forming, and my meticulous fight was giving them courage. Then came the showdown. It happened at an HOA meeting held under the sterile glow of the community clubhouse. Vanessa, flanked by jittery board members, Mr. Klein and Mrs. Harrow, opened the meeting with a tirade. She brandished blurry photos of my menacing lock, my aggressive lawn, and my jarring mat. "Mr. Thompson defies our standards," she declared, expecting me to crumble. I stood, briefcase in hand, suit crisp, voice calm. "I'd like to respond with facts." I presented the lock's safety features, its city code compliance, and photos of similar devices in upscale neighborhoods. My lawn? I compared it to Vanessa's own razor-edged grass. The welcome mat? I flashed a decor magazine praising that exact shade of dark green. Then I dropped the bombshell. "I've received 17 notices in 3 months, many baseless. Here's footage of Miss Sharp's son damaging my lawn, and her dog fouling my roses." Gasps filled the room. Junior shouted, "That's fake!" I didn't flinch. "Timestamps are clear. Originals are available." I urged the board to dismiss the fines and review Vanessa's conduct. Vanessa's face turned scarlet. The board, cornered by evidence, tabled the sanctions. Her grip was slipping. But I wasn't done yet. Vanessa's hypocrisy, fining me over lawn edges while her own yard gleamed like a country club, kept nagging at me. Was she really the rule-abiding queen she claimed to be? I started digging. HOA minutes, city records, permits. My engineer's eye caught oddities. Beautification funds mysteriously favoring Vanessa's street. Vague invoices linked to non-existent firms. Then I hit the jackpot. Her garden shed. City permits allowed a 10 by 12 foot structure. But Vanessa's? It was a mansion. Air-conditioned, plumbed, wired. A full-blown guest house, unpermitted and illegal. The irony was delicious. The same woman who hounded me over a welcome mat was hiding a code violation big enough to tank her property value. But revenge wasn't my goal. Justice was. So I drafted an anonymous letter to the city, detailed every violation, attached permit copies, satellite images, everything. I mailed it from another town. Untraceable. 3 weeks later, a city truck pulled up to Vanessa's driveway. From my marigolds, I watched her stiffen as an inspector headed to her backyard. Her gestures grew frantic, desperate. Rumors began to swirl. Vanessa's in trouble over a huge shed. Unpermitted dwelling unit. Fines are coming. Maybe demolition. I stayed polite, my good mornings, sharp and cheery. As her paranoia grew, she had no proof I tipped the city, and that drove her wild. Vanessa's unraveling was public. At the next HOA meeting, a resident grilled her on the record about her shed. She was speechless. Her authority? Crumbling. Weeks later, a demolition crew arrived. Saws whined, timbers fell, and her dream shed became rubble. I sipped coffee on my porch, not gloating, just satisfied. Vanessa's reign was over. She seemed scared now, avoiding eye contact. Rumors of her selling the house trailed behind her like a bad perfume. Junior mumbled, "Hello," one day. His bravado, gone. Willow Grove breathed easier. Neighbors smiled. HOA meetings turned civil. My smart lock gleamed. My welcome mat stayed green. My grandkids splashed safely in the pool. And I reflected, this was never about a smart lock. Vanessa and Junior didn't hate the lock. They hated me, a black man thriving in their world, unbothered, unafraid. But I didn't fight with anger. I fought with dignity, with facts, not fury, with patience, not vengeance. Vanessa's downfall wasn't my doing. She built her empire on hypocrisy. Truth tore it down. I just lit the match. Willow Grove's freer now, a real community. Sometimes I spot a dandelion in my lawn and smile. Imperfections make us human. This saga taught me something. You can't always pick your battles, but you can choose how to wage them. With dignity, with facts, with patience, and that is unbeatable. Moral of the story, when faced with prejudice, hostility, or abuse of power, don't respond with anger. Respond with dignity, patience, and truth. Fighting smart, using facts, calm persistence, and integrity can dismantle even the most entitled and oppressive behavior. In the end, justice isn't about revenge. It's about standing your ground with grace and letting truth speak louder than hate. You don't need to yell to be powerful. You just need to be right, calmly, clearly, and relentlessly.